Danita. You hear that?
What?
Baby, it's quiet, man. It's quiet.
It is. It's just us two today, huh?
Show is. I liked it like this.
I'm so glad Fred not here because he always putting me up every time I try to talk.
Man, my boy Nico, he being a family man. That's
Oh,
what
sure
I'm
is.
saying.
Damn, Team Maisie made this.
Welcome back, everyone, to Minds of Millennials podcast. I'm Danita Stevenson. I'm your host for today, and the topic of discussion today is women's empowerment. Today I have these three beautiful ladies with me. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hey y'all, my name is Asia Montgomery. I'm from Columbia, Mississippi. I'm 22 years old. I'm a recent graduate from Southern Miss, and I am currently enjoying post-grad crisis. I'm kidding. Post-grad life. So yeah, that's me.
Hey everyone, I'm Michaela Andrews. I'm a 26-year-old graduate student, so I'm very tired all the time. I'm from Boxburg, Mississippi, and most of my time is dedicated to school. I wish I was doing post-grad things.
As y'all know, I'm Kirsten Damer. I'm from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I'm one of Danita's co-hosts.
Yeah. So I'm glad to have you ladies with me today. So before we get started, I'm going to just ask, how would you define women's empowerment? And I know the definition for everyone to be different. I was talking with my mom, and me and her were just talking. I was like, how would you define women's empowerment? She was just saying, she would say it's women keeping their voice, a voice that's amplified and sustained. So I know the definition can be different for everyone. So what would?
When I think of women's empowerment, I honestly think of anyone or not even just a woman, even any man stepping up and saying, hey, your voice is needed, like you said, but also anybody who is pouring that into the individuals and telling the truths, telling the wrongs, telling the rights, and just leading them as they're going and just making it an even playing field. So that's what I think about.
Okay.
I was thinking about the same thing, like having an opinion, not just backing down because, somebody said a certain thing. Being strong. I mean, we all have our faults, but I mean, being a woman, that's what it comes with,
All right.
I think I would say, when I first think of just women empowerment, I just think of women empowering women. That's like the first thing that comes to my mind. Just because sometimes the other people in the world can put down on us, and women can put down on other women.
Right.
But it's so much power in not being jealous and really, I guess caring for your sister.
Exactly.
And so that's just the first thing I think of, just women truly empowering women and being genuine about it.
Exactly. Definitely. So that kind of brings us to our next question about why do you think women's empowerment is important? And we basically answered that also. So women's empowerment is a very broad subject or topic. So I've seen it's 5 different types of women's empowerment. We have social empowerment, political empowerment, educational, psychological, and economic. But before we move on to that, what are some empowering women that you look up to, you aspire to be, or you even get advice from as a young adult?
I mean, there's so many women. I think my mama that's the first one.
Right.
Anything you go through, bring mama. Who how I do this? Or
Right.
you look up to her to do different things and see how she did it because even when you were kids, you seen how strong your mother was.
Exactly.
And that she was like the superhero.
Exactly.
Nothing hurt her, but definitely your mother, grandmother. Oh, there's so many, but I definitely look up to my mother. I look up to Merle Evers. I look up to my great grandmother Ellie Damer because they are just so strong and they had everything thrown their way and they're still standing strong. Nothing can tear them down. No matter, all the stuff they went through, it's just like they have a testimony to still talk about,
Exactly.
and then tear them down. And as much as stuff that was thrown at them, they didn't,
Alright, so if you had to, who are some empowering women that you?
I would, of course, say my mom, like you said, just because, like, she's always been there. And that's who I go to for advice, sound advice, not the advice like, fight her, but, not that advice, but like spiritual advice. And she's always been the one praying for me. Y'all, she'll be up at 3 o'clock in the morning, you feel a hand on your head. I'm like,
wait a minute, baby,
that's like, I'm praying for you. And I feel like because of her prayers, like, that's why I'm where I am today. Because when I couldn't pray for myself, or when I didn't even know my spiritual life wasn't right, she was always there. And I would say, like, I know it might sound cliche, but Beyonce. Because if you think about it, she always does stuff in excellence. She never puts out, like, crap as far as, like, being, like, in entertainment and stuff. She's never the type of celebrity to put all her business out, put all her family business out. Like, some people, if something going on, they'll go on live and because, like, she just has so much class, and she does everything in excellence. And so that's another one. I was watching her Homecoming documentary, and every time I watch it, just seeing, like, the hard work that she puts in, and you can tell from the results. And so I just always get chills and just get so emotional watching her. So love you, B.
Beyonce is very voice.
Yes.
Yes.
I think of political figures. I actually think of your mom and how, like, literally, your mama literally got out the mud in the middle of, while we were like 7th or 8th grade. I watched your mom maneuver through everything and did it with so much grace. So your mom, my mom, a lot of people that I've grown up with, but mostly my day-to-day, my sisters. I talk to my sisters more than anybody a day. If something happens to me, what's up? What you doing? You good? What you doing? So, like, for me, it's that, and even, honestly, even you give me sound advice. You give me, all right, okay, you're doing too much. Bring it back. Or you validate my feelings. And I think that's pertinent. And I love how women who are higher up can influence us, but I love who are in my circle.
Right.
So anybody I have in my circle, I consider them someone that I look up to, and someone that I thrive to be, or someone who can hold my hand and say, hey, okay, calm down.
All right. That's beautiful. Yeah, I can say the same. My mother is someone that I look up to, and I get advice from. Like Kirsten was saying, our mothers are people that we instantly, hey mom, this is going on, or they are just steady, like, encouraging us. So the next question was going to be, what are 2 characteristics of the individuals that you name? And we basically said that. So with that being said, how do you apply that to your daily living? How you look up to them and you aspire to be like them. How do you apply that to your daily living? And for me, I can say, like, my mom is she's very compassionate and passionate for others and, helping people. So I try to, be kind, because you never know what a person is carrying and what they're dealing with. It doesn't cost anything to say, oh, hey, how you doing? Or checking in on a person, how you say it. So that's just something that I try to apply to my daily life, no matter what I'm dealing with, just be nice or be kind.
I think another one I would say is me being joyful, happy. It's better to put a smile on somebody's face than tearing them down. What is it going to do? Being negative, what is it going to do? Being joyful and putting a smile. I mean, they even said it makes your life longer when you smile and give you a good laugh, a good hearty laugh. I feel like that's what we need to bring to, women all around us, to make us stronger. But, like, what would you think?
I'm trying to, because I'm focusing, like, on my mom, just because, like, she's like always there. Like, I can't touch Beyonce, but I can, but I would just say, as I can just think of when I become a mom, I want to be like her in so many ways. And as far as, like, she would always put herself to the side for the betterment of, like, my siblings. She would always make sure we look good. Like it wasn't the type, I know sometimes we see moms in public and it's like they look good from head to toe and then their kids look a fool. But she always made sure that everybody looked good, and sometimes she would have to make sacrifices. I'm pretty sure she didn't want to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning praying for us, but she knew what it would do in the long run. So just being able to put myself aside for the betterment of someone else and someone else's future. So
a couple of words when I think of all the women that are in my life, and I think about how they mold and they pour into me. So in 2021, I have this big thing about if you're not pouring into me and I can't pour into you, I don't want to be around you. And that's just my motto. But I think about how my sisters push me to say, okay, look, do it. Just do it. I'm always a person who will do stuff, but before I do it, hey, what do y'all think about this, X, Y, and Z? Like even down to the stimulus, I'm like, hey, y'all, put this in my savings, yada, yada, yada. I'm okay, well, you do this every month. Spend something on yourself. Do something that you really like to do. So I think about, I can't really pinpoint it in one word, but just always pushing to make sure that I am okay with the decisions that I make, and it makes me, I feel like it's making me a strong person. With my mom, Jackie, I don't know, it's just my mom, I feel like there's that, just like Asia said, there's always that person praying over me, and I remember her, like, even as a child, my mom would be like, all right now, Lord, please help us. So like just that constant, hey Michaela, I don't care what anybody tells you, you are Michaela Andrews. You can do whatever you feel you want to do. So just like having those people, and I don't even know, I can't even think of an attitude to describe it, but that.
Right.
Having a prayer warrior over
Yeah.
Because what y'all just don't know, our mamas and grandmamas is prayers don't expire. They don't have an expiration date on them. So like when our mothers and grandmothers was praying way before, it's still holding us to this day. They're not just gonna go away.
That made me think about a post I seen. It was just like some of our grandparents' prayers are the reason why we still here today. So definitely. So next, what advice would you share with a younger female in regards to evolving into being a successful woman? What's some advice you would tell them? Me personally, it made me, when I thought of this question, it made me think about Nipsey Hussle, how he says it's a marathon, not a race. I know sometimes I get hard on myself and just like, why can't this happen now? Why can't this happen now? And it's just like, you have to take your time. It doesn't happen overnight. So that's just something that I would, some advice I would give to a younger female.
So when you say give advice to a younger female, I automatically always go back 9th grade, Michaela, exploring and trying to figure out who am I. So I would tell myself and younger individuals, number one, it's going to hurt until it doesn't. Meaning whatever you are going through, if it's bullying, if it's self-confidence, it's going to hurt until it doesn't. And always put your best foot forward, whether that means getting up out of the bed an extra 30 minutes just to read, or whatever you have to do to make yourself the best version of yourself. Invest in yourself. Because as a woman, as a single black woman, I feel confident. I'm learning. I have insecurities, don't get me wrong, I've got some insecurities, but I am loving the woman that I'm becoming. And it's only because I took the time to literally say, all right, these are some qualities that I don't like about myself. These are some qualities my close people say, hey, Michaela, this may be a little bit too much, and here's how you do that. I listen to it. So I honestly would say it hurt till it don't, and invest in yourself, because you won't ever stop investing.
Right.
And if you're able to invest in yourself, you're more likely to pour out into other people. Positively,
right.
What I feel like, there's only one you in the world. Only one you. Be yourself. Don't try to be like her or the next person around you. Be yourself. Love yourself for everything that is in you. But just like you say, you have stuff that you don't love about yourself. Baby, look at the positive things. Don't look at the negative. Throw it out. Throw out the negativity. You are way better. God made you how He wanted you. He made you beautifully. And that's why I want to stress to, especially the younger females growing up right now, seeing like, you know, you have to look a certain way, you gotta act a certain way to get, you know, where you wanna be or get the man you wanna be. You don't have to be like that. Be yourself, because you are made beautifully, you know?
Right.
I would say to know your worth, because it's just and be yourself was another one I was thinking of, but I feel like a lot of my know your worth journey started when I was like about 16. And I had an incident, and my mom asked me like, because I was one person at school and one person singing in church, and she was like, Asia, who are you? And I was just like, that's a good question, because I did not know. But ever since then, that question has been going through my mind. And recently, I've been in therapy to really try to understand my worth. I've been more in my word to see who God thinks of me. And I feel like you get this power when you really know who you are. Can't nobody tell you nothing different. You're not gonna take no BS. And I feel like if you're gonna be successful, like, you gonna hear people saying, oh, she this or she that, and if you care about that, if you too focused on them, you're not gonna ever be like elevated.
Right.
But I feel like knowing your worth is so important if you want to be successful, so you just don't take crap from other people, and you just truly live up to who you know you're supposed to be. So yeah, that would be a big one for me.
Okay.
Shout out to you for going to therapy, girl. I love my therapist. I got a therapy section next week. It's just, and I know this isn't about therapy or anything, but Black women, please go to therapy.
Yes.
We have things that are triggers in our lives, but we don't realize the cognitive and the behavioral of it. Like if you steady going off on a person who's pouring into you and loving to you, what is it about them that makes, what's that trigger? So I feel like I'm learning more and more triggers about myself. I just figured out, no shade. When my father tells me, hey Michaela, do X, Y, and Z, I do it, but I also find that trigger is like, ask me.
Yeah,
So having no, even though that's my dad, and he just said, hey, do this for me. Having those, being so intentional, like, what are your triggers? And I don't carry that to any other relationship throughout my day.
Yeah.
But yes, baby, I got therapy next week.
Yes, baby.
Yeah, so that brings me to my next question. How do you empower other women? How do you empower other women? I know with me, like, I'm a big complimenter, so like, I'm always like, girl, you're cute. Like, okay, I see you. So that's why that's one way that I empower women. Boosting their confidence.
That's the one. I was about to say the same thing. Like, I think I've been drawn to people that like is always kicked down, just, you know, talking about. Like, I like, baby, you are not like that. You come on, get up. Let me fix your crown. You are okay. You are blessed. Keep going. Don't let nobody tell you, you know, that step back to what you were just saying. Don't let society get in your head, because God made you beautiful. Don't do that. Don't do that. Come on, baby. Like, you know, just lift them up, just like you said.
Alright.
I would say, honestly, for me, I'm still defining how empowering women, like, I'm still learning how to empower women. And I say that because I know how to empower people in my circle.
Right.
I know how to empower people who know me, but I don't know how to fully empower without overstepping. So I'm learning how to actually have those intentional conversations, and I'm learning that you just ask the person, what does empowerment look like for you?
Exactly.
And it's teaching me to be intentional in my relationships. Like my little sister, she is brilliant. She is everything that I see myself to be. She is a little light of mine, but who am I to say, hey, you can do this is that light. So I have learned with her that just checking in every now and then, hey, I hope you're doing good. Let me know if you need anything while you're studying for your test. So like those little nuggets, those gems. And I find that when I do it that way, that it's more intentional, it's more pure, and it makes me feel good, you know?
Right. And that's why I say women's empowerment can be different for every person, you know? So,
I would say, how do I make sure I'm empowering women? Number one, just making sure I'm staying true to myself, because I feel like people know when you're genuine. People know when you're trying to be like somebody else, and they don't accept that. So just making sure I stay true to who Asia is, because never mind, I'm not even gonna go off on that. But, and also just encouraging women like on my platforms, TikTok and Instagram. Well, really it's just everybody, but sometimes I speak, you know, to mainly women. And going back to making sure I stay true to who I am. Sometimes when somebody sees that you're strong, it gives them strength. You know what I'm saying? So just making sure that, you know, I do my part. I feel like that can go a long way. So,
I'm glad you said that. I feel like when you radiate the positivity and the genuineness, like it just comes out.
Right.
It just radiates and it goes to the next person and rubs off on the next sister. And then you don't know who she might go out to and rub off on. It's just like, you know, a domino effect.
right.
And that's just like, that's how God really wanted us to be. You know, when we really love on each other and show each other kindness and uplift each other, baby, just think where we would be as women if we all could do that, you know?
With women's empowerment, I also think it's important for us to, in order for us to empower effectively and transparently empower women, we have to notice and recognize, hey, I'm somebody's bully. Let's be real. I'm somebody's bully, you somebody's bully. But we're also somebody's positive light. And a mentor of mine just put that out to me. She sent me this post, and that post I sent you. And it made so much sense in the sense of you can get so wrapped up trying to empower, but then those thoughts of like, oh, am I really a good person? I'm learning to acknowledge all of my faults because I don't want anybody to say something about me that I ain't never thought about myself.
Right.
Even though they're going to continue to do it, but I just think that's a real critical point of empowerment as well. So.
Alright. So we're gonna move on to our 5 types of women empowerment. The first one we have is political. So you know, in the past couple months we had some stuff happen in history. Our first Black Vice President, Kamala Harris, and then we had Stacey Abrams. She turned Georgia blue, and she launched her fair fight to ensure Georgia voters have a voice in the election system. So big shout out to them, women. These women who made a change in history. But how do you, this may be a controversial question, but how do you all feel about men having regulation over women's rights? Because I know that it's something that's like a topic of discussion.
Kamala actually, well, Vice President Kamala Harris, she actually argued that on the floor. Do you feel the need to have restrictions over a woman wants to do and say with her body? And what I found with that interview is she stood strong, and the man tried to knock her off in the sense of like, let me reword it this way so it can get you off your topic. Number one, to answer the question, hell no. You're not gonna tell me what I can't do with my body.
Exactly, that's my exact thoughts.
Number two, it takes women like Kamala Harris and Stacey Abrams. When I see those women, I literally see Fannie Lou's dream. Like I see Fannie Lou saying, nah, this is what it's gonna be, and this is how we're gonna do it. And those are the individuals, some of the individuals who are pushing forth that effort. But absolutely not. You're not gonna tell me that I have to give up something out of my body, but it doesn't affect you.
Right.
So, and I know Dr. Martin Luther King said, whatever affects you may not affect you. There was something to that nature, but I feel it's men's problem too. Women's empowerment is when we get other people involved in what we want to do and what we care about and are intentional, it moves.
Right.
So her actually arguing that, it put a seed out there, and the seed is growing now.
Yes.
Being an advocate for yourself, because if you're not, they just gonna run all over you type thing. You got to stand strong on your beliefs. You got to stand strong on what you know is the truth. You know,
Right.
But if you don't, then who is? You know.
Yeah, that's right. So with you wanna?
I feel pretty much the same way as Michaela. I always thought it was crazy how men could make rules or laws for women.
Right.
It's just kind of like, you're not even a woman. So I just feel like there should always be representation of the how do I say this? If you're making laws for women,
Right.
women need to be at the
Yeah.
table. You know what I'm saying? It should
Right.
never be.
Just
Because they don't know, like, I don't know. I feel really, don't get me started though. But you can move on.
me move on to social empowerment. And the definition for this, when I was reading upon it, it was enabling force that strengthens women's social structure and position. So it made me think about Beyonce. And I know Meg Thee Stallion, I know she has like provocative music, but Meg is for women. Like she is always, she's for us black women, especially, boosting our confidence. And it made me think about Chloe too, whenever she had participated in the Busted Challenge, and like people was coming at her neck, like, why? And then she came back and, voiced how she was like, it took me a long time to build the confidence that I have. And so that was like 3 main people that I thought about. And then when you talked about Beyonce earlier, I was like, I thought about Beyonce for social empowerment also, because she's very poised. She's always, carrying herself in a very high manner. And she's for our women. It made me think about the song too. Who Run the World?
Yeah.
Girls. So yeah.
I just think different people get their power from different places.
Right.
Some people, as referring to like Chloe and the stuff that went on with that, they were saying she ain't got on no clothes and all this stuff. Some women get their power from being modest,
Right.
and being, protected.
Right.
Some people feel powerful when they, it's just, I don't, like you said, it's many different definitions of women empowerment, and I don't feel like it's our right to tell somebody you don't need to do that. If that's how she feels comfortable, it's how she feels comfortable. Why we in that business?
Exactly.
Honestly, you in my business.
I just always thought that was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, they see this beautiful black woman feeling empowered, and of course people just gonna come and try to tear it down, but I love how she handled it. And yeah, you can, somebody else.
And it kind of made me think too, like when people have so much to say about another person and what they're doing when they're happy, like it just goes to show you're not comfortable with yourself.
Exactly.
It's something in the inside of you that you're dealing with. You need to go handle that. You need to go handle that.
Because I love seeing women feeling themselves. I always say I love seeing people when they feeling themselves. Oh yes, girl, you feel
Listen, that's why I love looking people up like, girl, you are beautiful.
Yes.
Because you are. Don't let nobody say you different.
Yeah. Like I think, like you was talking about earlier, like not overstepping bounds. Like sometimes I could be in the parking lot pulling up somewhere, and I can see a woman, and I'm just like, yes, bring it. I didn't want to, but you look good. I didn't even tell you that. But some people might be like, but I'm just like, but still, it's just like I want to let everyone know, like, you look good, baby. Come on, bring it. I love it. I love to see it. And I think that's another part, like, seeing other women uplifted, like bringing their businesses. And I don't care if you're just doing hair and that, but you bring something different to the table. Come on with it. Doing clothing, like we have all these different creativities flowing. Let's uplift each other,
Yeah. So I actually love this topic because it's also, believe it or not, it deals with toxic masculinity. It deals with all of these different avenues. Why is it that Chloe, a young woman who beautiful, can do something? Meg can do it. We love when Meg do it. It's what our minds allow us to accept. We don't want to accept Chloe doing what she's doing now because we see her as Beyonce, I'm gonna be on YouTube. That's what we see her. Yeah. We as people do not allow people to elevate. And Asia, I'm gonna commend you. I love what you're doing on social media.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like I legit love. Like I see Asia. You remember when we were on that panel together, and you said I'm still figuring out who Asia is.
Oh yeah.
I'm seeing who Asia is, and I love that. Like that's so AF. But honestly, I need some Meg. I need some Chloe. Meg is pushing me to be like, all right, Michaela, you don't like this part about your body. Go get in the gym.
Exactly.
Like I literally bought cute panties, put them on. My body's not there yet, but that's what I want. And I find that women like Meg, like I said, Meg is somebody's bully. But look what Meg doing. You can have all of these attributes about yourself and you still push other women forward. By women being their unique self, I'm loud, I'm vocal, I'm dominant, I'm all of that. You soft, you kind, you look like you.
I ain't soft now.
No. What I'm saying is your personality and mine, like Like, we totally different.
Right.
But you push me to continue to be my authentic self.
Exactly.
I don't care what you look, girl. You want to go to the top of the parking garage and pose in pictures, baby.
Do it.
And I'm gonna hype you up. This it.
And I'm gonna be there hyping you up.
Look, get on the ground. Come on, do that pose right there for me.
Look, it not only do you like physically, like I always go back to college because that's what I study. When you are happy, the endorphins in your brain are released. You start to see things differently. If I'm having a negative day and I can't say nothing positive, on my drive to work, I look out, oh, the sun is shining. I try to have my mind somewhere to where I can actually be positive for myself, not just anybody else, but being kind to myself. But yeah, Meg and Chloe can do whatever they want to do. Continue to
Period. Alright. So moving on to our next topic under women's empowerment. We talked about the 5 types of women empowerment and we had educational. So I was reading this article and the article stated, traditional concepts recognize higher education as an instrument of personal development. It helps in growing an individual's intellectual horizons, well-being, and potential for empowerment. So it made me think about this question. Do you all think women will be able to thrive in society like without a college degree or some sort of education? Because men, it's easy for men to get jobs if they don't have a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, as long as they have like a trade or
When I think about it, I think about what are we doing now? We are in a pandemic, and you are seeing like, if you look at like statistics and stuff, Black women, our businesses are growing in spite of. When I think of education, yes, it is needed. It is to equal playing field from a white Protestant male to a Black woman. Our dollars are not equal. So when I hear education, that education is needed, but you can get educated anywhere.
True.
If you are, and that goes back to being an empowered woman. I could have stopped at my bachelorette. Wait, how do you say it? Baccalaureate. Wait, that degree. I could have stopped at undergrad. Look, I could have stopped at undergrad. Anyway, bachelor. Yeah, I could have stopped at undergrad. But there are other things that I could have gotten in hair too. I love hair. You know how I love hair.
Yes, and she does great at braiding hair, but it's not what she wanted to do. Get up, girl. She can cry.
But what I'm saying is, I can put my energy in anything without having to be in somebody's classroom. Education does not start within a classroom, in my personal opinion.
Sure.
I knew more about me as a black young lady as a child because of my parents' teachings and what they poured into me. I believe education is needed, and I believe everybody should experience it, even if it's a semester. But there are other ways to educate and grow and be moguls.
Right.
Half of your moguls don't have college degrees. People who are that top 3%, they may have something, but their work ethic outweighs what a classroom taught them.
Right.
A book probably taught them versus sitting in a classroom.
Right. I was about to say you could pick up a book and gain knowledge like that.
Like Jordan Martin, he graduated. He's doing stocks and something. He has like over 12 something K on Instagram, and he's literally teaching people what he has learned for free.
For free.
So what you're passionate about will always thrive in spite of having a degree behind it.
Right.
Exactly. But I feel like you can't just put a mind and make it one way. You know, some people don't think the same of like, just book smarts. We all have different types of like, parts of us that can learn,
Right.
Cause like, I think I done learned more on TikTok than I did in school.
No, I have. Like, I've learned so much, whether it's just like life hacks or like even stuff about PR. Like, I've learned so much from TikTok. But anyway, to answer the question, I definitely think, I just think about the people who go to school and get a degree and they never use it. They end up going a totally different path. Or the people that go and get the degree just because the job pays well and they don't actually love what they do. And then in the end, they end up doing what God really put them on this earth to do. So I definitely think you can be successful, women can be successful without a education. And I also feel like it's all about just like going against the norm and being creative and putting yourself out there. So I would say it could definitely be done.
Right.
You'll have to work hard, but it'll be done. It'll get done.
And when you say be creative, it made me think about, cause like sometimes we try to put ourselves in a box, but like think outside the box. You know,
Yeah.
you can do it. All you have to do is take that step of faith
Right.
and do what you want to
I
do.
feel like society have put black women in this like you say, in this box, in this jar, like they can only do this. And then it's just like, now, it's just like we have all these expanded territories, like, that's been in us,
Right.
and just getting out.
I think society knows the power of black women.
Mm.
I think we put in the jar for, alright, let's see what the black woman do with it, and let's figure out how we can finesse and get what we need out of it.
Yeah.
And I find that it's no different from y'all's podcast versus a Charlamagne the God podcast or a comment, or you glorify what you deem popular,
Mm-hmm.
and we're really popular, but we don't realize it.
Right.
Like Asia, you doing stuff on Instagram and somebody's like, oh, did you see her post this? I like that. Let me go get that. Like that influence.
Right.
It's a positive one and it's already in us, but we just have to keep pushing to go past who we are. And the perfect person I think of when I think about that is Rihanna.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody said Rihanna was trash. She wasn't gonna sell no more music. And you think about what the music industry is doing now. They are waiting on Rihanna. What is she gonna do with Fenty? What is she gonna do with music? What is she gonna do with this? So like,
Right. This
making money
is
being
Yeah, it's something she just added.
And see, like, that's another thing I love, like, Rihanna. She stepped out, even though there was already lingerie and makeup out there. Guess what, baby? It's not her stuff out there. And she took a step out on faith and put it out there, and guess what? It's blowing up more than most of the makeup and lingerie pieces. So it's just like, I feel like women, put your stuff out there. Don't be scared, baby, because they ain't got what you got,
Right.
Put your own spin on it. Put it out there,
Alright. So our next type of women empowerment, we have economic. So it made me think about the workplace, and have you ever experienced any inequality as a woman in the workplace? And if you are comfortable disclosing, you can. So have you? I personally haven't, but I do think it's important that we as women have equal rights in the workplace. I mean, I know it's very prevalent.
right.
But I just personally have not experienced, but I wanted to see, have you all ever experienced?
I have. Really over the past, I guess, 2 years. And I don't want to like talk much about it, but it definitely, I can say it definitely hurts. And it did something to me mentally. Just because like I never experienced it before, but I overcame it, and it really made me stronger. And I feel like it's making me more, I guess, like ready for the real world, because it's everywhere. You know what I'm saying?
It's subtle too. That's the thing.
Very.
It's so subtle to the point where we're like, oh, this is normal. Nah, that ain't normal.
I called it though.
Right.
But
Little
yeah.
microaggressions they have in the workplace.
Now with like me working in healthcare, like you see it definitely, like you see it, like there's no way to hide it. Like men can't, let's see, how do I reword this? Like some patients prefer not a man to work with them, and they can't make them. But then here goes the women coming in, and they have to do all this extra work, but we still get paid the same to do more work than what he did, And it sucks, but it's just like, how do we change it? You speak up about it to, admin, and it just,
They just brush it off.
yeah.
Which is why we need to be admin.
Right.
Like I said, like we need representation in higher
Yeah.
places.
Yeah.
So we can control that stuff or bring awareness to it.
Right.
And that's, sometimes I feel like, maybe like, that's like, we need more of us, like, in admin to speak up, because it's like at a point where I get not frustrated, but just like, okay, look now, like I'm gonna put my foot down. If y'all ain't gonna do it, might as well. But just like, people fear about their jobs and income to pay the bills and stuff like that. But just like, baby, if you don't step up now, it's just gonna keep going.
Right.
So, when I think about employment and all of this, I feel like God is guiding me through these situations. First and foremost, yes, I am currently experiencing it, and I'm watching women of all races experience it. So what I'm learning is, number one, document everything, honey.
Yes, ma'am.
Have a notebook of everything. Documentation will alleviate all these little hidden micro aggressions within the workplace. And what I'm learning is, I've always known my voice is powerful, but I don't think I've fully digested to the extent of the power I hold. So a couple of weeks ago, to be transparent, I walked into someone's office who could fix it, and it's fixed. Like I literally, and I didn't overstep protocol. I went through the chain of command. But I was finally in the room with a woman. Number one, she was a woman who literally sat down and said, "Okay, let's look at how you're feeling. What are you?" And I love people who are solution focused. I told her I've tried this, I've done this. Here's my emails. Here's that. Okay, well, what do you want to do next? Honestly, I have an application on file to go work at Walmart, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. This lady put me in a room that can elevate me. So like speaking up for yourself and speaking up for those others, me being brave and saying, hey, and also she don't like this either, and y'all are doing this and X, Y, and Z. Next thing I know, something has changed just because I had the boldness at that time to say, you know what, I'm out. Either way it go, I'm out. So let me go ahead and say it. And I find that I'm learning sometimes, even though it's something so subtle, put your foot down. I think of it from like marriage, from a man and a woman standpoint. If you allow certain things at the beginning of when you're courting, dating, whatever, is going to be continuous and within your relationship. If you want to start something, you finish something how you want it to start. So I feel like I've had these instances that are happening, but I'll advocate for myself. And that's how and it sucks because not everybody has that confidence, but if you can just step on the edge a little bit. And just like, all right, dribble.
I love that because I work I'm the only woman, and it's like maybe like 15 men in my company. It's 2 black people, and I'm the only black woman. And so like, it's been so many times where I've been so scared to the point where I'm shaking, to bring it up, but just because like it's a lot different when it's only men. You don't have a woman there to relate to you. But the thing is, you have to make it known. You have to call them out about it, because if not, they just gonna keep doing what they do. But like you said, until you put your foot down, that's when the real change starts to happen. So if anybody out there is contemplating talking or speaking up,
do it.
Please do it.
And I'll say this: do not worry about the angry black woman complex. If it was a white woman or if it was another man, would they still be treating this scenario the way that they're treating it? Step out the size of whatever you got to do. I don't care if you have to record yourself having the conversation for proof if that's some sort of comfort. Have the conversation. Because half the time, individuals are ignorant and they don't realize what they're doing. And it's hard for us to accept that because of social media, but people really be in their own way and don't understand.
Yeah, tunnel vision. They don't even see what they're doing wrong until somebody call them out about it.
Look, if you was waiting for a sign, this is it. This is it right now.
And then too, I think you had spoke about finding your voice. So it's just all about finding your voice and say what you have to say. So if our next type of women empowerment that we want to talk about is psychological. So mental health is a big thing, so what do you do to engage in self-care? What are some things that you all love to do to engage in self-care, to just unplug away from the world or take care of you? What are some of your favorite things to do?
I'm lighting the candles on the side of the bathtub. I'm turning the lights off. It's going to be me time with my Netflix going to chill out.
I remember, you were on the Queens Uplifted? Okay, so I remember somebody actually sent me a question, and I was like, put you on some music and just write in your journal. And it was just because I barely knew what self-care was anyway. But my answer has changed so much just because I've literally gone through therapy and I've realized like sometimes self-care is not pretty. Sometimes self-care is so much more than getting your nails done or getting your toes done. It's literally sitting there and like, Asia, like, it's basically, I just had to get to a point where I just don't see myself in this good light. Asia, what are your flaws? And working through that. And just seeing where I'm wrong, because a lot of times we like to make ourselves believe we always
Right.
wrong with me. But when you really put it on paper and you can really start to like change, and I feel like ever since I've started therapy almost a year ago, I've evolved so much, and it's just such a beautiful thing. And I realized while self-care can be taking care of yourself physically, it can be so much more than that. It can be like a really mental thing, learning how to really encourage yourself and really be there for yourself when nobody else, isn't. So that's a way, one of my biggest ways of self-care would be therapy. Journaling, of course, get my nails done, because that always makes me feel good. And I would like taking trips, traveling, even though I haven't taken one in a year, but that's okay. So, those are some of my ways.
Okay.
So Asia, you said it. So for me, is all the glitz and glam of it, that don't work for me. Number one, I'm elevating in my education. I'm elevating in every other way, and I'm finding that imposter syndrome is something that I am dealing with, and will have after maybe 2 weeks in therapy. She said, you were dealing with imposter syndrome. And for me, self-care is like, what is imposter syndrome? What is a tangible view of what I'm dealing with? So like me being in a graduate program, that the statistics of it, what you can do and what people don't believe it is, it's weighing heavy with me. So self-care for me right now in this moment looks like, let me drive 30 minutes out of the way to go get a burger, and let me sit and let me write about myself. Let me think about the thoughts that I keep pushing when I'm somewhere where wind is blowing and my music is blaring and I can breathe.
Right.
So that's what self-care looks like for me. Regular, smegular, yes, I love to get my nails done, but I'm scared of nail salons right now. But for me, it's really just doing the work that I don't want to do. That's the self-care for me. Because I can fake it. I've learned how to fake it. But doing that, the meat and potatoes work, that's self-care for me.
And I think also just standing up for yourself, creating boundaries, whether that's in relationships with a guy or, your family, and not taking BS from people. So I used to, in relationships, just let people walk all over me. And so just finding your voice and standing up for yourself. No, I don't take that, I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? Not just continuing to give people chance after chance when it's really hurting you and tearing you down. But yeah, finding your voice and realizing your worth.
When a black woman takes care of herself, the world changes. And I see it on a micro, meso, and macro level. When a black woman says no, and let me tell you why, it changes things.
I like how you said take vacations. I mean, not necessarily with friends, but take a vacation by yourself, get away. And that's another thing, as hard as we work, we don't take that PT time that we're given. We just be so focused on, I got to do this.
Baby, I takes my time. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, I takes my time.
For these women that, they just are hard workers and they feel like they got to be there for the company.
Right.
Baby, that company, as soon as something happened to you, baby, they'll have something in your place by the next day.
Right.
Baby, take that time off. Give me time, Just like you said, take time to journal, go on that vacation, just spend time with yourself,
And that also goes back to normalizing luxury as black people. We don't normalize luxury in our life because we always having to fight. Imagine changing the rhetoric of, I'm gonna buy this bag. My bills paid, this is happening, I got savings, but I'm gonna do this. And that's something that I'm saying normalize luxury is because it's something that I haven't learned how to do. I'm gonna learn how to normalize luxury in my life. Now I take out work in a heartbeat because that's just my business. But like offensively saying, okay, you need a mental health day. Let me just go chill.
So during challenging times, like what do you all do to like boost your confidence and morale? Like what do you do?
Honestly, I know I just talked, but
Oh no, it's
I have the conversation with the people who are close to me. I'm learning to have that conversation. Like I still live with my parents, Jack and my babies. So when I need time to myself, I'm learning to say, hey mom, hey daddy, I'm not feeling like myself right now, or can we sit and watch a movie together, or hey, I'm fixing to go drive maybe an hour out, but here's where I'm going. And it's literally like me getting back in my headspace, but honestly communicating that I'm not okay.
Yeah.
Because for a long time, I wouldn't say a word, and I just be sitting in my room struggling. But hey mom, hey daddy, I'm not okay. Hey, I'm gonna call you back, I'm not okay. And if I don't text back, you can use the light skin there if you want to. I don't text back, and I don't feel bad about it. If you need me, call me. Okay? So, yeah, I'm okay with it, but just normalizing and communicating that's also a way for me to say, hey, I ain't myself right now.
Right.
And I need me.
Yes, auntie, yes.
I think something that I've been doing more is literally talking to myself. And whether literally just any time throughout the day, I try to make it a ritual to do it every morning. I literally look at myself and be like, you know, you a bad, you're a bad girl. You know, there's so much power like in what we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
And like, I was telling my mom literally last night, it's like sometimes we're so hard on ourselves, but I've been telling myself, if you wouldn't say it to your best friend, don't say it to yourself.
Right.
I would never tell Christiana, ew, you look fat. Like, but I'll tell myself that all day. Oh my God, you look so big, go to the gym. But I wouldn't tell that to somebody I love.
Yeah.
So just being, just being like, just watching what I feed myself and what I tell myself, because that's going to eventually come out. And so one way that I do that is I literally sit in the mirror and talk to myself.
Just to get
things.
For
real.
Like if we really don't use our full, like if you study, you literally changing the rhetoric of, dang, I can't do it.
You still telling yourself.
Your mind is saying, okay, you
Right.
can, okay. But imagine if you say, dang, Michaela, imagine if you really just put yourself out there, what you would do.
Right.
Dang, Michaela, imagine if you have that conversation. Dang, Michaela, what if you do stop? What if you do anything you want to do?
Exactly.
And that rhetoric, like, I can do this, man. I can do this. Like your mind, your cognitive is so much. Those endorphins that release, that's a real thing. When happy endorphins release, you can change the world.
Right.
Your world.
Okay. Teach us.
Oh, girl, you know,
That's you, Andy.
So that made me think about daily affirmations. So what are some things you constantly tell yourself to, like, you know, your daily, what are some of your daily affirmations?
I called a meeting at work because I felt very frustrated that some stuff was unfair. This is like a few weeks ago. And before the meeting, I just like walked outside and I played that song, I am healthy, I am wealthy, over and over. And I listened to women empowerment songs, Who Run the World, Girls. And I was literally talking to myself like, Asia, you
Pumping yourself up.
Yes. And it worked. I went in there and I sat down and I was like, this is how I feel. And I feel like without that, I would have been like, because usually I'm just like, this is
Very
how I
timid.
feel. Very timid.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as affirmations, I love that song. And wait, what was the question?
Oh, just one of your daily affirmations.
Just telling myself I'm worthy of the best treatment. Because sometimes we just feel like we don't deserve the best, and I think that's very toxic.
That comes from something deeper, like in my mind right now. I don't even want to drink great value water. You know why? Because I deserve the best water out there. I'm learning to allow myself to say, I don't care if y'all think I love myself like Kanye. Damn it, I do.
Yeah.
It's allowing yourself to have those thoughts. Allow living your truth. And for me, my daily affirmations, I have that, it's an app, and I get them like every 30 minutes. And I instead of me just looking at it, I am beautiful, I am blessed, whatever the affirmation may be, I may play it. Now, I have a 30-minute commute every day, 5 days a week. So I listen to music. When I'm having a day where I know I'm just fixing to have to just push through, I turn on me. Like, I'm fixing to look. I'm fixing to go and I'm fixing to get it done. Now, if I'm feeling very reflective and I'm feeling super thankful, I listen to Closer. It's an old song, Closer to My Dreams. You know?
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
So when I listen to that song,
It's very calming.
It's calming, and I visualize where I want to go. If I allow myself to visualize it, I'm gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
So and I have several, but today, last week mostly, bumping my music, opening my sunroof, driving 30 minutes out the way.
I put my hands out the sun.
Now look, I ain't got a piece of tint on my car, and you wanna know what? I fish bowls. Baby, I'm in that
I'm quick to pull up to the light and turn, I'll look around. If I see you like, we're off in a
Look, I'm learning to love myself unapologetically, and I'm learning it from people who aren't necessarily quote unquote good in society, or who we deem as like popular at the time.
Right.
You can say what you want about Kanye. He a little off, he do this, he do that.
No.
But Kanye perseveres in spite of. He does what he thinks you might not see his vision, but he see his vision.
Mm-hmm.
Homie got a contract with Adidas that's like nobody has ever done that. Like homie's shoes sell out in 2.5 minutes. That wasn't anything that he copied. That was what he is doing.
Yeah.
So imagine what he believes was your mindset.
Alright.
And so many people think they ugly, but he still do it. Cause I ain't got the money for it, but
Look,
so many people feel different ways, but still it's those people who go ride for you and be behind
Right.
Exactly.
And I love to think about Ivy Park. I want some Ivy Park Adidas so bad. They sell out in 30 minutes. And it's nothing but her influence. Beyonce could have put a plain little t-shirt out and it still would sell out. Not because it's a t-shirt, it's because it's Beyonce's t-shirt. And people love how they feel when they listen to her. So.
I got that last Ivy Park drop. My bank account suffered.
But you got that Ivy Park.
Right. Look, you know why I started like.
Here's your time. It's my time now. But I think when I tell myself, since I've been on this journey, getting close to God, I definitely listen to gospel, because that just lifts me up. Like, there be certain songs I just talk to me, Lord. Come on in. It just makes me so joyful. Mm-hmm. And another thing, one of the scriptures, he pretty much said, don't settle for nothing. I'm giving you everything you have ever wanted to desire, So don't settle for this little stuff. There's more out there for you. Don't stop. Keep going, I didn't create you to just, I guess I'll just take this. No, he wanted us to have everything to our heart's desire. What we wanted, that's what he wants, So I feel like, you gotta tell yourself, I am a God-fearing woman. I am loved. He created me for purpose. There's something he's doing with me, and I'm gonna be in his kingdom, and that makes me happy. Telling myself that can't touch me. You can't, and that's another scripture that comes if God is for me, what can be against me? Right. And I can't say nothing else. It's just that makes me happy. That just makes me joyful and happy, and just certain gospel songs, I can put, baby, speak, and I'll be in there crying sometimes. If you see me crying, just keep going. I'm going through something. He's talking to me. Just keep going with it. Baby, that's the best thing I can do. That's my daily.
That's beautiful, ladies. So but to wrap it up, I'm gonna say my positive note. It's a quote from Oprah Winfrey. It's think like a queen. A queen is not afraid to fail. Failure is another stepping stone to greatness. Mm-hmm. So that was my positive note. And to wrap it up, I want to thank you ladies for joining me today for our Women's Empowerment episode. And comment, subscribe to our Minds of Millennials podcast. And see you next time. Bye.
Bye, y'all.